Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Mark Duffy, and I'm one of the directors of the American Kitchen Cabinet Alliance. We're delighted that you've joined us this morning at this pivotal moment for discussion on trade policy and President Trump's Section 232 investigation on lumber, timber, and cabinetry. As you may know, the domestic cabinet industry supports more than 250,000 American jobs, and in recent times we've seen a tremendous surge of unfairly traded cabinet imports and parts from Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Mexico, and Thailand flood into the United States. Thousands of workers have lost their jobs, dozens of plants have shut down. Some plants are operating at 20–30% capacity, and if nothing changes soon, the industry is going to be obliterated. That's why President Trump launched the Section 232 investigation in March to help save these jobs, and the investigation is wrapping up very, very soon. So with that in mind, I'm just going to play a very short video that tells our story, and then we're going to hear a quick intro from Senate Majority Leader Thune, and then we're going to pass it over to our distinguished panelists, Senator Tommy Tuberville, Congressman Joe Wilson, Stephen Welborn of Wellborn Cabinets, Mr. Edwin Underwood of Marsh Furniture, and Luke Meisner, our counsel. So yeah, let's, just before we dive right in, we're just going to play our quick video that tells our story, and then we'll jump right into the discussion.
Welcome to Ashland, Alabama. We're proud of our city. We're proud of all the jobs we have here. Our population is 1,984 people, and Wellborn Cabinet employs 1,400 people. The company was started in the 60s, and there's generations of people that have been working there and made their living. I really can't imagine Ashland not having the cabinet business. We would be devastated.
My father was a builder. In 1961, there was a cotton field here, and we come up and built a little service station for my father to sell gas. My brother and I started making cabinets a few years earlier in his houses. From that point on, my brother and I, we started a cabinet business, started hiring people. The community has been really good to us through the years. We got good people, their families have worked here. I believe in keeping the community strong and healthy for the people that live here to have a good living. We have the capacity in the United States to build all the cabinets that we need in the country, but we need a fair, level playing field so that these manufacturers stays in this country, not to a foreign country. And it needs to be dealt with now, get the tariffs on, get the 6%, 232 bill passed. Cabinet business will be healthy for the long term in this country and save all of these 250,000 jobs. We're looking forward to seeing a 232 bill put in. It would really help save these jobs again. We need these tariffs across the board, 60%, to save our industry.
Believe in America, buy American. I mean, that's what we believe in. So we want to protect our people and continue to provide a livelihood for their family.
Well, I'm Robert Fettner. I work at Wellborn Cabinets. This is my sister-in-law, Jackie, and my son, Thomas. Thomas has been here 10 or 11 years, and Jackie's been here 30 years, and I've been here over 40 years. I started when I was 16, so I had a job while I was in school and was able to work. Then later on in life, I got married, had children, so it provided me a home, a vehicle, and, you know, just a place to live and all the assets it takes to be a family man.
We try to do everything absolutely in-house with American suppliers, American employees. These are American jobs, good paying, good benefit jobs in America, mostly rural America, that can be saved just by doing the right thing on trade.
You have governments that come in and they do the dumping into the industry, and they're bringing products in cheaper than we can manufacture them here. We're truly concerned about it. We're not against trade, but we're against unfair trade.
Mexico, Malaysia, Vietnam, bringing product in at the price points that we can't compete with. We don't want anything other than a level playing field. We are asking for no exceptions, no exemptions, because these countries will find a way to cheat.
I'm James Lee. Everybody here calls me Jimmy Lee. I'm in the engineering department. I'm grounds and building supervisor and fire chief of the wonderful city of Ashland, Alabama. Wellborn Cabinets, it employs a lot of people that lives here, not only just here in Ashland, but surrounding counties. If something were to happen here, then it's going to put a lot of people out of their job.
If Wellborn was not here, because it's one of the biggest companies in Ashland, it wouldn't be a town. It provides a lot of jobs for pretty much the whole city. We need President Trump and his administration to protect American workers.
I would like to thank President Trump, the administration, really going after these countries that are circumventing and dumping into our market. We appreciate every effort they do each and every day.
We got 1,500 people here that truly need everybody to keep going, and really appreciate the dedication, time, and work being put forth towards getting us back on the right track.
They know what they need to do to protect American jobs. 60% or even more would be absolutely wonderful. Protect American jobs, and that way continue our industry thriving in the years to come.
Zero tariffs means zero jobs in this country. And the furniture business, 140 plants went out of business. If you got no tariffs, it will happen here. Mr. President, we need 60% tariffs to save our industry. If we don't, we'll all be gone.
So, with that, we're looking forward to hearing from Senate Majority Leader Thune. I know he has a short address that he prepared for us. So let's go ahead and play that for the group now.
Hi, I'm Senator John Thune. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you today, and thank you for the terrific work that you do to build great products that are shipped all across the United States. American manufacturers are vital to our country's economy, and the U.S. kitchen cabinet industry alone supports hundreds of thousands of jobs across our nation. During my travels across South Dakota, I often visit small businesses and local manufacturers, and I've seen firsthand the positive impact that businesses like Showplace Cabinetry in Harrisburg, South Dakota have on the local community. Manufacturing businesses provide good-paying jobs and opportunities for so many hardworking Americans, and it's critical that they have the tax and regulatory certainty that they need to thrive. That's why during my time in Congress, I've worked hard to promote pro-growth policies like those included in the recently enacted Big Beautiful Bill to make it easier for manufacturers to invest in their operations, increase wages, and create jobs. And I remain committed to continue advocating for policies that will help strengthen manufacturing here at home for generations to come. Thank you again for your important work, and enjoy your time in our nation's capital.
We're grateful to Senate Majority Leader Thune for his support. And now I'm pleased to introduce our very special guest, U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville. Elected in 2020, Senator Tuberville, better known to most people as Coach, is currently serving his first term in representing Alabama in the United States Senate. A former college football coach, Senator Tuberville is a proven winner and leader with a unique ability to bring people together. His 4 decades of coaching experience enables him to bring a fresh perspective to the halls of Congress. The coach's top priorities include strengthening the U.S. military, helping our farmers, standing up for our nation's veterans, and promoting pro-growth economic policies. Senator Tuberville serves on a number of committees in Congress, including Armed Services, Veterans Affairs, the Ag Committee, Health, Education, and Labor, and the Special Subcommittee on Aging. Coach lives in Auburn with his wife Suzanne, and they have 2 adult sons, and he's also now the proud grandpa to Rosie Grace Tuberville. So congratulations, Senator, and the floor is yours, sir.
I'm glad you got Rosie in there. That was very important. My first grandchild. Thanks for inviting me here today. I can only describe this as one thing. This is war. We're having a war with countries outside our boundaries, outside our borders. It's getting tougher and tougher. Since the Clinton administration and NAFTA was enacted, it's been almost a disaster. Well, it has been a disaster for manufacturing in our state of Alabama and all over the country. It has to change. We have no choice. It has got to change. It's got to change immediately, and thank God for President Trump and what he did. Number one, in his first term, he saved a lot of manufacturing that I even know of in the state of Alabama and our country. We had a huge lapse in the fight against other countries when it came to fair trade. When the Biden administration came in, now, thank God, we're back to business. And President Trump understands business. He understands manufacturing, and that's the reason he's going after trade and fair trade. So I'm proud today to support, one of Alabama's elite companies, which is Wellborn Cabinets, and you've just heard about that. And I've been friends with the Wellborns a long time. Just as other domestic industries, China is undercutting our cabinet business, basically cutting our throats. And just years ago, as I talked to the Wellborn family, China was bringing over, taking our lumber, shipping it back to China, manufacturing after milling it, manufacturing it, sending it back, and still cutting our prices here in the United States. They've even changed that. Now they're getting the wood from somewhere else. And it's been a disaster. It's going to continue to be a disaster unless we have fair trade. And as you heard Mr. Wellborn say a few minutes ago, 50%, 60%, 70%, whatever it's going to take, we've got to do it, or we're going to lose these great jobs and these great countries and companies in our state and other states in the country. Most of the things you look have a sticker that say made in China or made in Vietnam. When I was growing up, it was made in Japan. And it just kind of is floated around. Our cabinet industry is by far no exception. It's a shame. Thank God President Trump, as I said, is back in office. With his help, we're replacing those stickers with ones that say made in America. And that is his goal, America first. And we have to do it. We have no choice. I mean, we're sitting back in some areas thinking, we can get by with a little bit of this, a little of that. We can't do it. It's not going to happen. We cannot deal with this because it's not a level playing field. China's been cheating the system by moving lower quality cabinets through countries like Cambodia, Mexico, Vietnam, Indonesia, and dumping things in this country, not just cabinets, but all other things that we see all across our country. They dump everything they possibly can, to sell their product, whether it's cheaper price or not, and most of it's not even good. It makes it harder for domestic producers to compete. We all understand that. President Trump has been strategically using tariffs, and I get more questions about tariffs. Do we need to be doing this? Folks, we have a $37 trillion deficit. We need to wake up and smell the roses. We are paying billions a week just on the debt that we have, and tariffs are going to help with that. For the first time in 5 years, we showed a profit in this country last June. And you just saw it the last week, was $27, $28 billion. We've been printing $80,000 a second. Now we're making money. We cannot continue down that path. So tariffs are working. And I know some people are going to suffer to some degree. Farmers are being one. Farmers are being one, but we have to do it. There has to be an answer to it, and the answer is tariffs. Through Trump's negotiations, we've seen numerous countries come to the table seeking trade deals. Secretary Bassett, Treasury Secretary, friend of mine, he said they're standing in line wanting to do a deal with America. And that's what this is all about. Wellborn's been making quality cabinets for, 60 years, Mr. Paul? 60 years. And we're not going to let them go out of business because we, the deep state up here, D.C., is going to overlook our job. We want to keep all these good paying jobs all over the country, especially in our state of Alabama. Thousands of Alabama cabinet workers and their families need enforcement of a strong Section 232. We've talked about that. The domestic cabinet industry contributes 250,000 jobs nationwide and 5,000 in Alabama alone. That's why I encourage President Trump to continue leveraging tariffs. Don't let up. Increase it. Don't let up. I'm excited for the golden age of American manufacturing as we return to Made in America.
Thank you, Senator Tuberville, for those insightful remarks. Now I'm pleased to introduce Congressman Joe Wilson. Congressman Wilson began his career in public service, serving on the staffs of the great Senator Strom Thurmond and Congressman Floyd Spence. He also worked in the Reagan administration for Department of Energy, and he has a strong military background. He served as a member of the U.S. Armed Forces for 31 years, and on the South Carolina National Guard, he retired as a colonel. After 17 years in the legislature, Joe was elected to Congress in 2021. He's a senior member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and he is the most senior member on the Armed Services Committee. He's also the chairman of the U.S. Helsinki Commission and has been appointed to the highly influential Republican Policy Committee. Congressman, sir, the floor is yours.
Mark, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, what a fun time to be here, because all I have to do with the senator is say amen. Actually, beginning with the granddaughter, okay? My granddaughter's here. So I'm really grateful that Emily Ruth Wilson is here, and she's already met some her future colleagues on August 8th. She will begin at the real USC. And so I'm very, very grateful. The real one, no. There's another one, Spoiled Children, but I'm not familiar with that. And so, but the bottom line is, I just want to say amen to what you've said. What we're talking about is jobs, 250,000 jobs in the United States. An industry, $12 billion of industry, and we know that the 232 tariffs can be in place, and we've got the guy to do it. His name is Donald Trump, the business guy. He knows the abuse that he's caught as he's raised the issues of tariffs, and then the Senate has actually pointed out the tens of billions of dollars that have been already achieved to actually achieve a surplus. I mean, many of us didn't think that could occur in the 21st century, but it's been achieved, and so we've got the right person in office at the right time, and so I'm really very grateful that working together we can make an achievement, and this really is national security, because we see countries around the world, and it begins with China, who, and I have an article from the Washington Times in May where I pointed out that China is dumping in our country to eliminate different industries and take them over, and to make it very significant in their issues. And people need to know that when we say China, what you're talking about is the Chinese Communist Party. When you're talking about industry, you're talking about state-owned industry. And they have a policy of military-civilian fusion, and that is that all of their companies could, in the event of a war, immediately convert into production of military equipment. And so this is not, so this really is an issue of national security, and so we can make a difference. And then it's personal to me in that Koch and Company has a facility in Barnwell, Allendale, South Carolina, and they have 40 employees. They could have 200, and well, that would be very important. And when I tell you that particular community, Allendale is the second poorest county in North America. Sadly, also, it has the highest incidence of diabetes of any county in the United States. And so if ever jobs were needed, it would be in such a depressed community. And so it's really real. And then I've also seen where it can work. The president's already reinstituted tariffs, 232, in regard to steel and aluminum. And in the district I represent, I've had steel and aluminum manufacturers, so I have been the executive director of the Steel Caucus in the past, and I've seen how it can change. And that interesting story, I was in Shanghai one time, and I was given an option of going to the art museum or the biosteel plant. I said, I'd like to go to the biosteel plant. I did. When I got there, it was really very revealing. There were different displays, so about 20 different companies that were an amalgamation working there together on steel manufacture and fabrication. And then they were very impressive Western names. And somebody whispered to me, said, don't be fooled. These are all state-owned. Everybody's owned by one entity. And so, and they indeed were capable, as we see, of the greatest military buildup in peacetime history going on today. And so we just need to be prepared, and we've got a president who understands that, and so it begins with jobs, but it's national security, and I'm just so grateful that we have the experience of a president who has the intestinal fortitude to proceed, and I want to thank the industry by raising these issues. The American people need to know. They do not know, and they just assume that things are the cabinet's, hey, 70% below cost, that's pretty good. No, that's not good. It's dumping as subsidies, and we can do better, and thank you for raising this issue. I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you so much, Congressman. Now I'm pleased to introduce Stephen Wellborn. He's the co-owner at Wellborn Cabinet. Wellborn Cabinet's a family-owned business that's served Ashland, Alabama for over 60 years, since it was founded in 1961 by Stephen's uncle and his father, Mr. Paul, who's with us here today. With 1,400 employees and about $250 million a year in revenue, Wellborn is the economic lifeline for Clay County and for the local community. Mr. Wellborn, Stephen, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Stephen Wellborn. I am co-owner and board member of Wellborn Cabinet and a founding member of the American Kitchen Cabinet Alliance. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. Let me say it's an honor to be joined on the stage by U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville, who is a champion for Alabamans, and Congressman Joe Wilson from South Carolina. Wellborn Cabinet has been operating in the great city of Ashland for over 60 years, founded by my father Paul and his brother Doug in 1961. It's been our goal to produce high-quality brand of American-made cabinetry. Over the last 60 years, we have completely integrated ourselves into the Ashland and surrounding area communities. Our company is deeply rooted in our town, and without the cabinet business, Ashland would be devastated. We employ 1,400 people at our plant in Ashland, Alabama, and our local population is 1,984 people. With over $250 million of revenue a year and 5,000 indirect jobs, Wellborn Cabinet is the economic backbone and largest employer in Ashland, Alabama. We also have a plant in Salt Lake City with about 75 employees. We pride ourselves in doing everything in-house. Timber enters our sawmill and exits Wellborn as a finished 100% American-made cabinet. Our ability to do everything in-house allows us to ensure the standard and craftsmanship of our product to guarantee our customers are receiving the most high-quality version of our cabinets. We know we create an exceptional cabinetry products by our exceptional employees. Wellborn truly is a family business throughout all levels of the company. My dad, my mother, my brother, my wife, my sons, my daughters, cousins, extended family all work at Wellborn Cabinet to continue our great legacy. We're not only a family business through my own personal family, but are a large family with many multi-generational workers at our plant. Many of our employees, sisters, brothers, husbands, wives, sons, and daughters have worked with us because we provide family-oriented jobs. These jobs allow you to stay in a family, buy a house, get married, send your children to school, and live the American dream. We offer a number of great benefits, including medical staff on site, doctors, and a nurse practitioner, as well as an on-site daycare and cafeteria for all employees. Every day, hundreds of families avail in our daycare facility at Wellborn. We put family first. We make a priority to give back to our teammates and community through volunteer efforts with local schools, charities, churches, and activities around the area. All workers from my father to our teammates on the ground in the factory are extremely concerned about the flood of foreign imports that is threatening the very survival of our industry. Unfairly traded foreign cabinetry from Cambodia, Malaysia, Mexico, Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam is pouring into the U.S. market. These companies have received extensive government subsidies, harvest illegal timber, and engage in legal transshipment and circumvention schemes to evade U.S. duties. In April 2020, the Department of Commerce and the International Trade Commission determined that the U.S. kitchen cabinet industry had been greatly hit by the surge of subsidized cabinets from China. In response to this, they imposed AD/CVD, which is anti-dumping countervailing duty, up to 262% to help save the domestic industry, and it worked for a short term. However, the Chinese Communist Party and their proxies began to transship cabinets through Vietnam, Malaysia, and other countries, which is now flooding the U.S. shores today. These products are being priced at over 70% lower than U.S. pricing and often cheaper than the cost of the materials for the producers. The volume of imports is rapidly increasing and making it nearly impossible for domestic cabinet manufacturers to compete. This threatens the 1,400 jobs in Ashland, Alabama, the 5,000 cabinet jobs in Alabama, and more than 250,000 cabinet manufacturing jobs across America. Due to a significant influx of imported timber, lumber, and related products such as cabinetry being dumped in the U.S. by foreign countries, President Donald J. Trump initiated a Section 232 investigation on March 1st, 2025 to safeguard the domestic cabinet manufacturing industry from unfair trade practices. As the Trump administration moves forward with the Section 232 investigation focused on national and economic security, the domestic cabinet industry is calling for a 100% tariff to stop the flood of unfairly traded foreign imports and protect American cabinet manufacturing jobs. With ample production and capacity already in place, the industry does not need reshoring, just a fair playing field. A strong Section 232 could spark a golden age for the domestic cabinet manufacturing and help prevent the kind of decline seen in other sectors like furniture and textile industry. Let me be clear, Wellborn and our member companies are not against free trade, but we are against unfair and illegal trade practices that hurt tens of thousands of American workers and their families. There's a strong demand for domestic market for the kitchen cabinets with historic levels of apartment creations and almost 5 million new housing units since 2020. The domestic industry should be doing better right now, but we're not, and it's because of the tremendous surge of foreign imports. It makes no sense we have seen imports at the same prices as the plywood we use to create our product. The imports are devastating to business like us and the livelihood of our employees. At Wellborn, we have gone from producing 13,000 cabinets a week to 10,000, from 65 trucks a week leaving our company to 50. Above all else, we have gone from 2,200 employees to 1,400 employees. The illegal practice of the foreign producers are having a real devastating impact on American kitchen cabinet industry, and thousands of workers have already lost their jobs. It is important to note that Wellborn Cabinet is located in rural Alabama, and if closure due to these imports occurred, the nearest employer is 40 miles away. That is why I'm so honored to have Senator Tommy Tuberville and the candidate for the governor here today to show his commitment to fight for not only our 1,400 workers and the families for the Alabamans. The cabinet industry is a significant part of Alabama manufacturing sector and the backbone of our community. However, multiple plants have been forced to close down, making hundreds of Alabamans unemployed. At Wellborn, we are determined to continue providing good paying jobs to our community and to help our workers support their families and live in the American dream. My family's plant has been around for over 60 years, and we will be around for the next 60 if President Trump and all our political leaders do the right thing on trade. Enough is enough. I'm here today asking the U.S. government to impose a strong Section 232 tariff of at least 100% or more on foreign cabinets imports to stop the bleeding. If we fail, 250,000 American cabinet jobs will be wiped out. Now is the time for the U.S. government to impose the 100% Section tariff, and under President Trump's leadership, we will make cabinetry great again. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Really appreciate those remarks. Just before we go ahead and introduce Edwin Underwood, I just want to come back to Senator Tuberville, because I know you have a hearing at 10, so I want to just be conscious of that. So a couple of one or two questions for you, Senator. If subsidized foreign cabinet imports continue to overwhelm domestic manufacturers, how do you think that's going to affect Alabama? Do you think we'll have mass job losses?
Oh, 100%. It'll be over. I mean, if these tariffs don't work, we'll lose companies like Wellborn Cabinet. They'll have no choice. They'll have no chance. The president saved them back in, 2016-17. Now it's gotten worse. He's back doing the things he needs to do, but it's not just a cabinet business. It's all of our business. We'll end up a socialist country being run by communists, and just like China. Mm-hmm. And as I used to tell my football players, listen, this country owes you one thing, an opportunity. We have opportunity right now, but if we do not stop this illegal trade, this stealing of all the things we have in this country by other communist countries, that we're going to end up just like them. So we've got to stop it, and it starts here.
Thank you, Senator. Another question, well, maybe the most important question that some of the Wellborns have asked me is, will you ever come back to Alabama and coach Auburn again?
That's a lot of fun. That's a game. This is life.
Exactly. Well, a more serious question then. If elected governor, how will you fight to bring back more cabinet manufacturing jobs to Alabama, and how are you going to work with President Trump to make this happen?
There's not a week that goes by that I don't have manufacturing come to my office here wanting to move with possibilities of coming to the state of Alabama, whether it's overseas, Europe, Asia, or in this country alone. It's working. What President Trump is doing is working because manufacturing in other countries see the light at the end of the tunnel. They have to move back. And that's the reasons these tariffs have to work. And we'll grow in Alabama. That's one of the reasons I told President Trump when I decided to run for governor. He's sending the power and money back to the states and more authority. And so we're going to take advantage of that. And being the governor, being the CEO of the state, I look forward to pushing that narrative and helping our state grow like the rest of the states across the country. We have to win this battle. This is a game we got to win. We can't tie. We have to win. We have to win the battle of tariffs across this great world that we live in. But everybody wants what we have. And by doing that, they're taking advantage of the things that we do. We can't allow that to happen. We have to be the statue of the world of showing people this is how you do it. This is a free world. This is a free country. You can have the opportunity, but we have to be given that opportunity and not be stolen and cheated.
Thank you, Senator. And then just to follow up on that, like, what's your message to President Trump as they wrap up the Section 232 investigation on lumber, timber, and cabinetry? Do you think we need a 100% tariff rate? What would you ask of the president if he called you up this afternoon and said, Senator, what do you need?
Well, at least 100% or more. I mean, we've just got to look at the things out there that are in front of us. I mean, we can read the tea leaves here. We can see what's going on with the small manufacturing, the big manufacturing, how they're undercutting their jobs, how they're cutting prices, how they're stealing our technology. And again, there's nothing better than American made. They can try to cut all the corners they possibly want. Sometimes people look for a cheaper product, but there's nothing better than an American-made product. And President Trump understands that. He's lived in this country. He's done quite well himself, and he understands the significance of the American worker and American manufacturing, and it all starts there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Senator. And now I'm going to turn over to Mr. Edwin Underwood to deliver some remarks. Edwin is the president and COO of Marsh Furniture. He served in that role for 12 years, and he was previously vice president of manufacturing and a plant manager. So he has 30 years of experience in the cabinet industry. And Marsh Furniture, it's a family-owned business in High Point, North Carolina, which used to be the furniture capital of America. It's been there for nearly 120 years, and they have over 600 employees across the Carolinas and South and North Carolina. So, Mr. Underwood, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning. My name is Edwin Underwood, and I serve as the President and Chief Operating Officer for Marsh Furniture Company, headquartered in High Point, North Carolina. It's an honor to be with you here today. Marsh Furniture is a family-owned company with a proud history of producing high-quality American-made cabinetry since 1906. We employ over 600 dedicated, multi-generational teammates across North and South Carolina, people who build their lives and indeed their communities around good-paying manufacturing jobs. I want to extend a special thank you to Senator Tommy Tuberville and Representative Joe Wilson of South Carolina for being here today and for standing with us and others in the American cabinet manufacturing industry. Over the decades, Marsh has weathered many storms, from the Great Depression to global conflicts, from the housing crisis of 2008 to the recent pandemic. Through it all, we've maintained commitment to our workforce, our craft, and our community. But today, we face a new and growing threat, one that is hollowing out American industry from within: unfairly traded foreign cabinet imports. Once known as the furniture capital of the world, High Point, North Carolina built its reputation on strong domestic textiles and furniture manufacturing. But unregulated foreign dumping wiped out many of the companies that earned that title for our town. Now, Marsh Furniture and more than 10,000 jobs across North and South Carolina, and a total of 250,000 jobs in the American cabinet industry, face a similar threat. Already, our industry has lost $6.5 billion in revenue over the last 5 years as foreign-made cabinets, heavily underpriced, flood the U.S. market. The impact is real and it's visible. Companies are scaling back, laying off workers, or shutting their doors entirely. To solve this problem, we must first understand it. In 2020, following an extensive 18-month investigation, the U.S. Department of Commerce and the International Trade Commission imposed anti-dumping and countervailing duties, AD/CVDs, of up to 262% on Chinese cabinet imports. They found that the Chinese government was indeed heavily subsidizing its industry and dumping products into the U.S. market. But the problem didn't go away. Instead, Chinese companies backed by the Chinese Communist Party found ways to avoid these duties by shipping their products through third countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, and Mexico. They are skirting tariffs and continuing to sell at prices of up to 70% below market value. It's called transshipment, and it's allowing predatory pricing to continue unchecked. The reality is simple. We cannot compete on an uneven playing field. These foreign governments and manufacturers aren't just looking to sell in our market. They are looking to dominate it by destroying domestic manufacturers and eliminating their competition. And it's working. Plants have shut down in Alabama, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Kansas, Texas, Virginia, and in my home state of North Carolina. If this continues, we won't just lose jobs, we'll lose the ability to make cabinets in America altogether, which is one of the reasons we're here today. This is not just an economic issue. This is a national security issue. Our country must be able to produce materials for housing and shelter. Relying on foreign supply chains for essential goods puts our economic and national security at risk. That's why on March 1st, 2025, President Donald Trump launched a Section 232 investigation into foreign cabinet imports. This investigation is critical. As it nears conclusion, we in the domestic cabinet industry are asking for 100% tariff on all foreign cabinet imports. No exceptions, no exclusions, no loopholes. Unlike previous administrations, President Trump has shown tremendous leadership with targeted tariffs to stop foreign countries from engaging in unfair trade practices, and he's demonstrated time and again a commitment to fighting and advocating for millions of American manufacturing workers. As President Trump has said publicly, tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They are about protecting the soul of our country. And I couldn't agree more. In North Carolina, we are approaching a pivotal moment with Senator Tillis retiring in an open seat in 2026. Let me be clear, tens of thousands of manufacturing workers will be backing candidates who fight to preserve jobs and stand up to foreign nations whose actions adversely affect and impact American success. To our guests, our partners in the media, and our elected officials, I want to thank you for being here today. This is a critical issue that involves an industry, thousands of American family livelihoods, and ultimately national and economic security for the United States. Many plants are operating at 30 or 40% capacity. To make these products here, we do not have to develop complex infrastructure. We don't have to reshore them. We have the workforce and the capability already here in the U.S. What we need is the chance to compete on a level playing field. A strong, loophole-free, 100% tariff under Section 232 can revive the American cabinet industry. It will protect workers, restore our industry, and again, help protect the soul of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin, for those thought-provoking remarks. Finally, let me introduce Luke Meisner. He's the counsel for AKCA. Luke has 2 decades of experience advising clients in international trade litigation and policy. He represents American companies and workers who are harmed by unfair trade imports. He's worked with the domestic cabinet industry for over 5 years, and he's litigated complex anti-dumping and duty cases before the Department of Commerce, the International Trade Commission, and the Court of International Trade. Luke, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mark. Well, let me start by saying it's an honor to be here with such distinguished members of Congress up at the table. And I'm also very proud to have represented the U.S. domestic cabinets industry for the last 5 years. They really are a vital pillar of their local communities where they have their manufacturing facilities. So President Trump is looking into whether to put tariffs on imports of cabinets as part of a Section 232 investigation, which has to do with national security. So a lot of people ask, why is this a national security issue? Timber and lumber and products derived from timber and lumber, like cabinets, are essential materials for national security, economic stability, and industrial resilience. Timber and lumber are the backbone of American housing, forming the structural framework of 95% of homes built across the country. The foundation of our economy rests on timber and lumber products, which are indispensable for producing the wooden pallets and packaging that transport food, medicine, and other essential goods across the nation. Remarkably, timber and lumber account for 5% of America's renewable energy, underscoring their role in our nation's energy independence. And if you just look around in our world, in the room where we are gathered today, and as you move across today, just look around. Wooden materials are a lot like steel. They're everywhere. They're part of our economy. They're absolutely essential. And where are we going to get those wooden products? Are we going to get them here in the United States, or are we going to rely on foreign sources for them? Now, where do U.S. cabinet manufacturers fit into this broader timber and lumber industry? They are a vital pillar of this industry, serving as major consumers of the hardwood harvested by American loggers across our nation's forests and milled in American sawmills. Without strong downstream industries, such as cabinet producers, that depend on American hardwood, the entire supply chain, from our forests to our loggers to our sawmills, faces the threat of being hollowed out like an old oak. Unfortunately, as you've heard from folks gathered here today, American cabinet producers are on the brink of calamity due to a surge of unfairly traded imports of cabinets from countries like China, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, and Mexico. Many of these imported cabinets are made with hardwoods sourced from Russia, indirectly supporting Putin's war of aggression against Ukraine. Or they are made with illegally harvested timber that violates the Lacey Act. So President Trump is absolutely correct to recognize that this is a national security issue that needs to be addressed. Now, what relief is needed? The American Kitchen Cabinet Alliance is calling for Section 232 tariffs of 100% on imported cabinets. As part of the Section 232 investigation process, we gave the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, and his agency detailed evidence that imported cabinets are being sold at less than half the price of American cabinets because of unfair advantages that foreign exporters enjoy. So the math is simple. To level the playing field and provide effective relief to the cabinets industry, the tariffs must be at least 100%. The timing here is extremely important. President Trump has moved quickly in his second term to use his Section 232 authority to impose higher tariffs based on national security grounds. He ordered a Section 232 investigation into the copper industry in February and announced earlier this month in July that he was imposing tariffs on copper imports. We hope that the president works with the same speed to bring needed relief to the cabinets and greater timber and lumber industry. We do not want the cabinets industry to be left splintered and forgotten, and that is why we are calling on the president to impose at least 100% tariffs on imports of cabinets.
Luke, thank you so much. Luke, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. First, we're going to have a quick panel discussion here for about 5 minutes and then open it up to the group for media questions. My first question is to Congressman Wilson. Congressman is a veteran and one of the most senior leaders on armed services and House Foreign Affairs. Do you believe President Trump's Section 232, his Section 232 investigation on cabinetry is the most effective trade remedy tool to save jobs in your congressional district?
I really do, and I also everything fits together with Donald Trump. We have all the above energy, that is looking at fair and free exercise of capabilities to develop energy. And so I relate that to this, and that is jobs are created in energy. Now we need to make sure that our different industries are capable to provide opportunity, because I look at it as opportunity of jobs. And additionally to the concept of national security, and I just can't restate enough, the whole plan of the Chinese Communist Party needs to be understood as military-civilian fusion of industry, which also relates to us, and that if we don't have these industries in the event of a conflict, gosh, how that is national security. And so over and over again, and I'm just so grateful for the leadership here. Gosh, Luke and Mark, thank y'all. This is so encouraging because of the facts and figures that are being provided. And thank goodness you've got people with Howard Lucknick who actually will receive the information and act intelligently, which is amazing. What's happened in 6 months, and so and hey, it's called reality. And something I like about President Trump, he can be assaulted by reality or educated by reality in this case, and the reality is that action should be taken.
Thank you, Congressman. Mr. Wellborn, Stephen, with the surge of unfairly traded imports, how would the closure of your plant in Ashland, Alabama, affect your town and affect Clay County?
Thank you, Mark. As I stated in my comments, we're in rural Alabama, and most of our industry across America is rural America. I mean, it's the plants are not located in your metropolitan areas. They're just diverse factories throughout the whole industry. But in Ashland, we're very rural Alabama. The total county is only 14,000 people. So if you lose an industry like a cabinet, we're not the only one in our county, cabinet manufacturing job. If you lose this industry, those people will literally lose their livelihoods. These are not just some low-paying, low-skill set jobs. These are, the thing about manufacturing is you create not only the normal jobs, you create engineers, you create IT people, you create purchasing people, managers, supervisors throughout your whole organization. So that all goes away if the domestic industry, cabinet industry goes. Ashland, Alabama will become a shell of itself. Now, some people say that's not a problem, but I can tell you what, our 1,400 people in our industry and their families say that's a problem, and they shouldn't have to be faced. If it's fair domestic competition and you can't compete, that's one thing. This is nothing about fair competition. This is truly dumping product on an industry that is just not right for American workers to have to face.
Absolutely. And Edwin, just to follow up on that, there's been a lot of talk about 232 tariffs in the last 6 months. We have tariffs on steel, aluminum, and copper. And it's crystal clear how, metal is needed for national security purposes in wartime. How is timber, lumber, and cabinetry, how is that a national security issue?
Yeah, Luke alluded to some of this earlier. As these Section 232, this investigation is aimed at lumber, timber, and derivative products. It mentions, in the President's order, it mentions cabinetry specifically. It's no doubt in that these are all essential raw materials for the construction of housing, for the construction of shelter. So as you distill the critical responsibilities core to a responsible government, a capable government, it comes back to providing for a healthy national defense, strong national defense, ensuring that there is a robust economy where its citizens can earn for their family, save for their retirement, and invest for their future. And certainly it is critical that they provide and ensure that cost, quality, and access to critical raw materials that would provide for shelter, for housing for their citizens. That is core to the responsibilities of a capable government. I would add that a number of people, both Marsh, we're from High Point, North Carolina. North Carolina has a number of military installations throughout the state. We have provided countless cabinets for barracks, for officers' housing, for meeting spaces throughout government installations, both military and non-military. If the surge of unfairly traded, grossly underpriced cabinetry is allowed to continue unchecked, our ability to continue to provide access to that is going to cease to exist. Is that going to be a year from now or 5 years from now? It will not be 10 years from now. We have got to act now before we are too sick to fight this fight. I would also add that as a domestic manufacturer, I would rather our cabinets be the ones populating that military barrack. Do we want their cabinets in our military spaces? So, thank you.
Thank you. Luke, just following on from that, it's kind of a two-part question. The domestic cabinet industry, we're asking for a 100% tariff, but very simple question. Why is it not 50%? I see reporters in the room here who cover metals. They got 50% on other industries. Why not 50%? And then, is there any concern that some of these tariffs could cause inflation?
Thank you, Mark. I love a two-part question, so appreciate that.
Double whammy, yes.
Taking the first part, we have evidence from official import statistics. We have anecdotal evidence from offers that cabinet producers in Vietnam and Malaysia send even to the AKCA members, where they say, look, we can sell you this cabinet, this 2-door, 4-drawer cabinet for $150, and we'll see what does it take for an American producer to make that same cabinet, the same model, using similar materials with the same finish, white paint, whatever it might be, and it's $300. And so the math is quite simple. If you put a 10% tariff on cabinetry that's coming in from Vietnam, it's going to take the price of that cabinet from, let's say, $150 for the box to $165. How is that going to level the playing field for Wellborn Cabinets, which is making that same cabinet in Ashland, Alabama for $300? You need to have tariffs of at least 100% to level the playing field so that the prices are even, and so that our domestic industry can compete on a level playing field in the U.S. marketplace. As to the question of inflation, when you look at an entire home, and this comes up with steel and other products as well, which have faced tariffs. If you look at the cost of building an entire home, cabinets are a relatively small part of that. So even if you have a 100% tariff on the cabinets, then you're not going to increase the price for the consumer to a significant degree. And people talk about inflation all the time, and people talked about it in Trump's first term when he began imposing tariffs on China. And we saw that what a lot of the free market economists predicted about inflation going haywire just did not come to pass in Trump's first term. And I don't think that imposing tariffs is going to have a significant impact on inflation here in Trump's second term as well.
Thank you, Luke. And just one or two final questions for the group. Edwin, Senator Tom Tillis, he's retiring. He's not running for re-election to the U.S. Sorry, Senator Tom Tillis is not running for re-election to the U.S. Senate in 2026. Laura Trump, she's been mentioned. She's going to run potentially next year. How important is this Section 232 to North Carolina's, domestic cabinet industry? There's more than 10,000 jobs and votes there. Do you think this trade issue matters to North Carolina voters, and will it, if the administration does the right thing, do you think it will help get voters to the polls?
It's a great question. As I think about that, I will get back to the factory tomorrow, and I'll have the opportunity to walk the floor, which is where I love to be. And I will not get 20 feet out on the floor before 3 people will approach me and ask me, how did it go yesterday? You think we're making a difference? We have a wonderful team, and I would say that our team is the best cabinet team in the industry. But in all seriousness, we make it our responsibility to ensure that they understand what's going on. They understand this is not inconvenient, that this is existential. And they understand it, they get it, they're engaged, and they are mobilized voters. It was interesting. I was in a conversation not 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking about this. We were talking about the rules of 232s, and I made the statement that the investigation takes about 240 days. Two hands in the back of the room came up and said, Edwin, that's 270 days. They understand how this works. The thousands of people in this industry who understand the stakes will be mobilized in the Novembers to come as they observe those elected officials who stand for us and stand with us.
Absolutely. And then last question for Congressman Wilson before we open it to the floor. Congressman, should governors across the Southeast be concerned about the flood of imports? I know your son Alan is running for governor of South Carolina. And what's your message to like Speaker Johnson and your colleagues in Congress? You know, what type of pressure do you think they need to be putting on the White House to impose tariffs and to save these great industries?
Well, I'm really grateful. We have a wonderful governor now, Henry McMaster, who's been a leader in recruiting small businesses, also maintaining the industries we have. Of all things, South Carolina is the leading, people in Alabama don't know this, but it's the leading exporter of cars and tires of any state in the union. Who would ever imagine? And so over and over again, all industries. And so, but the Southeast indeed is to me, the growth area of the United States. And hey, let's be real. What we're talking about is right to work. And we are very, very fortunate that if people want to join a union, they can or not. And just all these things, so many different issues fit together. And then, Luke, when you mentioned about energy, I was thinking, I'm really grateful I represent the Savannah River site. And here it's nuclear energy, but also Amoresco is located there, which is woody biomass energy. So all of these fit together, and it's something we were just pointing out, a devolution of power. What Donald Trump is doing is a dictator accumulates power. No, this guy is devolving it back to the states. And so it's exciting to see a new governor of Alabama, to see the opportunities we have of governorships throughout the Southeast, and all will be working to maintain right to work, maintain an environment of reducing taxes, growing income, and back on the inflation. Actually, the rise of wages is like 7.2% currently, and sadly, but it can be handled. The inflation is like 3.2%. And so over and over again, we need to grow the economy, and with the release of the capabilities of all of the above energy, to me, that's going to be a ripple effect of reduction of cost of production and transportation that will make it possible for us to compete with the world.
Thank you, Congressman. And now we're just going to open it up. My colleague over here has a microphone. So for a couple of reporter questions, if you just want to state your name and news outlet. Or
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm a reporter with Bloomberg. You guys had mentioned that the Lumber 232 investigation was going to be wrapping very soon. Do you have a specific timeline on that, like weeks or months?
It's a great question. Luke, do you want to?
I'll take that as the lawyer. I mean, as Edwin mentioned, it's 270 days is what the president has under the 232 statute. However, he's been moving very quickly. We just saw with copper, which was initiated in February. He just announced 50% tariffs on copper imports, and we have every indication that the president will make a final decision by the end of summer. That's our expectation, and that's our hope and our prayer, because the industry needs the relief, 100% tariffs.
Absolutely. Sir.
Thanks. Oh, okay. Gavin Bade with the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for being here. President Trump says that he has completed trade deals with two of the economies that you all mentioned up here. This is Indonesia and Vietnam. However, he's not released any details of those deals. In previous deals, in the UK deal, he gave a break on some of those 232s to the UK, let more automobiles and more steel and aluminum into the country under lower tariff levels. Are you concerned that that could happen when it comes to cabinets in these deals? And do you want to see him release text of a trade deal here more than just something he posts on his social media site?
It's a great question. I don't know, Edwin or Luke, if you want to.
I'll kick it off. We're very focused on the 232 investigation. We know that the president, under his IEPA and under authorities, is looking imposing broad-based tariffs against the globe, really, and there's a lot of good reasons for that. But what we're focused on is cabinetry and timber and lumber. And we do not think that the president is going to let out some of the key sort of cheaters that we see: Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia. Those are the number one problems. Mexico as well, in our backyard, they've allowed a lot of Chinese factories to move in right across the southern border and ship a lot of cabinets over here. And so we expect that the president will have no exemptions for the Section 232 tariffs. That's what we're asking for. No exclusions, no exemptions, 100% tariffs across the board.
Can I hear from the corporate leaders here too? Or do you at least want to see text of a deal to be sure that he's not going to give a loophole in some way?
We're certainly, we're asking for no loopholes. That's what we're asking for, and that's what we want, because the Chinese CVD case that we won, I mean, it was circumvented very quickly. It stopped China in its tracks, but, they started circumventing to other countries. So, yes, we're asking for that, and that's, the exceptions, zero exceptions is what we're looking for, and that's what we want. And we're encouraged by what's coming out of this administration. But, like you said, there were some deals being cut, but we focus on the 232s. The other trade deals that's being cut are, different than the 232. 232 is something that we are asking for zero exemptions.
And it's worth noting, too, that 232s are very focused. They're narrow and they're deep. So our goal, again, this is existential, our goal is to see success on that front. Mm-hmm. How other trade deals are structured and crafted, our ultimate goal is to see success on 232s that would affect and impact the 250,000 jobs that right now are at stake.
Hey, I'd like to point out, as a former journalist, I appreciate the Wall Street Journal. Thank you. Okay, I can read one or two newspapers. But anyway, very significant. Truly, this administration, led by the president, can be educated by reality. The classic is trying to have lovely talks with war criminal Putin and finding out they're meaningless. And so he has completely moved, I believe, to understanding that we must provide the defensive capabilities to the people of Ukraine to defend themselves for sovereignty. And I would relate that to trade. I would relate it to all of the tariff issues, to energy. You can just go through sector after sector. And the great thing is it comes back to something called common sense.
Absolutely. Time for one or two more questions. I see Joe from Bloomberg down the back and some other gentlemen here. And then...
Hi there, Zach with MLEX. Thanks for doing this. Following up on the results of the 232 investigation, I just want to see if any of you have any sense of whether the findings are expected to align with some of the issues that you've been discussing here.
I mean, I think from a legal standpoint, Luke might have some insights, and I know we've had some meetings, but you can...
Sure. The president, when he first announced the 232 investigation, he released a fact sheet on why he believed this is a national security issue. And in the broadest strokes, yes, it aligns exactly with what everyone has been talking about up here. Timber and lumber, it's essential that we continue to be able to support the broader timber and lumber industry, because it's vital to our economy, it's vital to national security, and if we don't support it, not only with supporting the forests, but also the loggers, the sawmill, and also the derivative products. The title of the investigation is Timber, Lumber, and Derivative Products, including Cabinetry. It's essential that cabinet manufacturers and other producers that make products derived from timber and lumber are healthy, so that the entire supply chain from the forest down to the cabinets in our kitchens is sustainable.
Thank you. And then I know we have one last question from Joe Doe from Bloomberg. Thanks.
Hey guys, Joe Doe from Bloomberg. Just a quick question. Are we expecting a flat tariff to come out of this 232 recommendation, or are you expecting tiers depending on the product, the timber, the lumber?
It's a great question. Luke, I know you can comment on that.
What we're expecting and what we're asking for is 100% tariffs on cabinets. I can say for other 232 investigations, President Trump has not had a tiered approach. It's possible there could be a tiered approach for this investigation, but what our message to the president is for cabinets, it has to be 100%.
Thank you all very much. So just before we wrap up, we're just going to play a short video just to kind of really to close us out. We're extremely grateful to you all for coming out this morning and spending the time with us. If you want to learn more about the issue, go to akca.org. We're also extremely grateful for Congressman Joe Wilson from the 2nd District and Senator Tuberville and our other distinguished panelists for joining us. But we're just going to go ahead and play a short video, 40 seconds, just telling what we're asking for, and the Congressman, I think, might have a couple of minutes for a press gaggle before he heads out, and our panelists will be able to answer questions. So please go ahead and play the video.
Welcome to Ashland, Alabama. Our population is 1,984 people, and Welborn Cabinet employs 1,400 people. I really can't imagine Ashland not having the cabinet business. We would be devastated.
We try to do everything in-house with American suppliers, American employees. These are good paying American jobs that can be saved just by doing the right thing on trade. Mexico, Malaysia, Vietnam, bringing product in at the price points that we can't compete with. We don't want anything other than a level playing field.
In the furniture business, 140 plants went out of business. If you got no tariffs, it will happen here. Mr. President, we need 60% tariffs to save our industry. If we don't, we'll all be gone.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. As mentioned, we need 100% 232 tariff to save these 250,000 jobs. If you want to learn more about our issue, visit us at akca.org. And thank you all again for coming out, and have a great rest of your day.